Everyone, this is my father, Jill Ellis. He was my first coach, probably my life coach. Has his own incredible resume about the game of soccer, but just has been a phenomenal influence in my soccer career. I was actually, as a technical writer, I was working for a company for Northern Telecom, and I was making decent money for a young person, and I got this opportunity to go and coach and be a second assistant at the University of Maryland. So I called my dad first because I knew that would be softer, and I said, "Hey Dad, I got this opportunity." He's like, "Great, fantastic, go for it." Told him the salary. He's like, "Great, go for it." Put my mom on the phone. "Are you kidding me?" She was horrified. I think it was like $6,000 a year. But you know what? He said money's never important when you're following your dream. So that's what I did.
I've lived long enough to know that money doesn't bring happiness. I'd always known that she had a desire in the game. She'd always been surrounded by the game. So when she came and sort of suggested that she wanted to it didn't really surprise me. But is it the right direction for job satisfaction, excitement, challenges? Yes, it was. Go for it.
When I left college, I went actually to graduate school and was an assistant coach. And he sat me down and he's like, "All right, here's a few do's and don'ts. Don't drink with the players. It's a simple thing." He's like, "Don't. Just make sure you're always ready and you're prepared and you give your best. Be honest, be always, give the players the information." So those were kind of little things at the start of my career. But I think, at every major juncture where I've turned, in terms of reached a fork in the road, he's always encouraged me to probably take the higher risk, the decision to leave to be an assistant to go be a head coach, to leave Illinois to go to UCLA, to leave UCLA to go to US Soccer. There's been always these forks in the road, and I think the best advice, and obviously he's my dad and he favors me, but he always said, if you've got ability and you're a good person, it's never a high risk, you'll always land on your feet. So there's always something that gave me confidence.
Remember, I was with national team and I was trying to work with that donkey thing where you were trying to clip games and that process. Well, in the modern game, you've got to be good at the communications.
Technology.
And I think that going into telecom put her ahead of the game, because I think that when she's able to clip games and construct that, people like me can't do that.
Like even when I was a player, like playing high school, playing college, or even coaching, when I was younger, he'd always have a pencil and a little piece of paper, and then I'd be walking in the locker room and he'd be like, "Slip me this." This is when I was young and coaching.
Yeah.
So
I mean, in the early days when this evaluation there where they watch the game and they say, "Well, there's so many passes." Well, I used to have people sitting all around the field with a little piece of paper, and they watched the player for 5 minutes, and we had like a little code, and then I used to have to come in afterwards on a chalkboard in all different colours and put all the players up there to get to where they are today, right? That's how it was done. Did I know that she was going to be a great coach? Did I know that she was going to be where she is today? Of course not. You don't know that. But what happens is, I've worked with thousands of coaches, and there's certain ones that you look at and you go, "This one's special." Right when you look at a player, you suddenly look at a player and say, "This one's different." And I could always tell, every time we came to these little crossroads, this one's a little different. Felt that. So she took the risk. If you don't calculate the risk and don't take risk, then you don't come to the Ballon d'Or.
The advice he always says to me is like, I would get these texts during the World Cup, 3 deep breaths, just kind of stay in it, compose yourself. But ever since I literally was a little girl, he always said to me, when I was looking to face a challenge, stacks of smoke and straight up the middle. And it's kind of a military term, but it means just get after something head on. Don't circumvent, don't try and dodge it, just deal with something directly. And so that's kind of how I took this job. It was like, I knew what had to be done. So you just got to go for it and see what happens. So.
Immense pride, when you suddenly, I said to my wife, "Oh my God, we produced her, she's ours. Right? This is you and I out there." And that's a phenomenal feeling. And to watch her operate and to watch her work. I think on the sidelines, she does extremely well. Because when she was younger, she could be a little hostile.
Animated.
That's a good word, that's a better word. Animated. Yeah, better word. So I really condone completely the way she conducts herself on the sideline. I think I'm old-fashioned perhaps, but I do believe that it's important that coaches set a standard, conduct themselves well, and that she does. I've been in the soccer family all my life, and this is a soccer family coming together from all over the world. So all these people coming together, and here's my daughter being considered the female coach of the year. Unbelievable.